Hey, this is Chris Jericho, and you are listening to Houston Wrestling Radio, probably the best podcast in all of Texas, and probably the only one I've ever heard of. So crank it up and enjoy.
Hey everyone, this is Taylor Hendricks, your Boston Strong Bombshell, and you are listening to Houston Wrestling Radio.
This is WWE Hall of Famer Tito Santana, and you are listening to Houston Wrestling Radio. Arriba!
Hello and welcome everyone to the first anniversary of Houston Wrestling Radio. This is Abel.
This is Travis.
This is Chris.
And thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm pretty excited, man. We made it 1 year. That's pretty awesome.
That's like 52 episodes or something.
52 episodes. Yes, this is episode number 52. Thank you for the clap there. Thank you. No, not that kind of clap.
I got medicine for that.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah. Good. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Whether you're listening to us on HoustonWrestlingRadio.com or on YouTube, or if you downloaded us off of iTunes, or if you are on the go with the Stitcher Radio app on your iPhone or Android device, thank you. Thank you so much. Here's to hopefully another year in the making. And, you know, we got a lot to talk about this week. We had a pretty cool weekend, actually. Yeah. Starting off with, well, let's go in chronological order here.
Chronological order?
Yes. It still hasn't worn off from this weekend. Okay, anyway, Trav, you met somebody.
Ooh, yes I did.
Let's hear about it. Tell us about it.
As the listeners probably just heard, we got a little chat with Y2J himself, the Ayatollah Rock and Roller, and the lead singer Fozzy. Chris Jericho, he was in Houston. He was in town doing some CD signings. Went there, met up with him. I did try to plug our show a little bit to him, let him know that, hey, there is a local podcast here that talks wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Apparently you weren't the only one.
Yeah. Yeah, funny story about that. While I was waiting in line, friend of the show, Nicole Bacon, as yeah, there you go. I did that just for you, Chris.
Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle.
Sorry, Nicole. But she
Don't
was,
beat, baby.
She was in line with me. I got my autograph, with Jericho. And when I was, about to leave, I said, hey, would you mind doing a little intro for us? Just thinking he's going to say no anyways. Might as well ask, right?
Doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah. To my surprise, he says no. But then he says, I can't do it now, but hang back over there to the side, and as soon as I'm done, I'll do it for you. I was like, okay, sure. Where do I wait? So, I was waiting, and then, Nicole was right after me. I didn't know, but she plugged our show to Jericho also. So, thank you, Nicole, for that. And then, later on, while we're waiting, the line's trickling down, and I see at the very end some stragglers walking in. One of them is, Pete from, Norwood Order.
Pete! This guy.
Who does our, music for the intro for our show. And, I didn't tell him to do this, but he goes up to him and says, yeah, man, I got my own, do my own, local band here. Oh, by the way, I do the theme music for this local podcast, Houston Wrestling Radio. So poor Jericho, man, he had it embedded him by 3 different people that there is a, local, Houston podcast for wrestling.
Wow.
So
awesome.
If you hear the intro that he's did, yeah, he now knows about Houston Wrestling Radio.
I guess so. Yes, he does.
And we're grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the other part about that too, that was interesting when we heard the raw footage of that,
yes.
is that after he does a little intro, which you guys heard, Travis wasn't too quick to press stop on the recorder.
On purpose.
Yeah, on purpose. And what you hear is, all right, hey, thanks. Oh, no problem. All right, thanks. And then the slam of a door and then the ignition and Jericho taking off. It was like Jericho was literally leaving when he did all that. So it was like, all right, you're listening to Houston Wrestling Radio, blah, blah, blah. Okay, bye, thanks. Vroom.
Well, hey, I'll tell you this. When Jericho points to you and says, okay, where do you want to do this? Outside? I was like, yeah, you go outside.
Yeah. So that was awfully fun.
Tip of the cap to you, my friend.
Oh, thank you, sir. Yes.
That was on Saturday, and he was doing an autograph signing there for his LP. And later that evening,
Yes.
his band was doing a show on a different part of town. That's probably why he was, in a rush. Now, you didn't go to the show, neither did I, but Chris did. Chris,
Yes.
tell us all about Fozzy.
Man, get there like maybe 15 minutes before the opening band starts. There's maybe 100 people. I'd never been to a House of Blues that empty before a show started. I was like, man, I hope this isn't going to turn out the way I think it is. First band was all right. I forgot their name. They were cool. They got my attention. We started making our way from the back, leaning on the wall from the mixers and stuff, so we can try to get a closer view. And it wasn't packed. It was still like 100 people. So we were able to get pretty close, pretty quick, pretty easy. And then the lights go out. Fozzy hits the stage. I look back. The whole floor was packed. Full. I was like, wow, that's good. I didn't want to be embarrassed on behalf of Houston, cause he's, talked about how he went to San Antonio the night before. And,
Did he play in a parking lot or something?
they had to play in a parking lot because the venue that there was originally booked for was converted into a haunted house. So they actually played in the parking lot and they had 1,400 people there.
Wow.
San Antonio, I've been to shows in San Antonio. I've feared for my life. They get rowdy down there, but that's the kind of show that you remember. Like, you don't remember these, like, pussyfooting fans over here in Houston that don't want to mosh or jump around or crowd surf or none of that bullshit. They just want to stand there and look like drones and just stare.
Yeah.
And move their arms every now and again. Not to mention Scott was a happy drunk.
Scott, our friend from Stoppage Time.
Yeah, Stoppage Time. Oi! And, Aaron from Awesome Aaron Designs.
Yeah, Awesome AG Designs.
Yeah, and Sean, another friend of ours. The four of us went. Within the first 30 seconds, I was sold. Mm-hmm. Like, Jericho got the frontman act down to a T. Like, he got everybody riled up. I was disappointed he didn't have the light up jacket because I was going to try to take it from him. I seriously would have hit the stage over the 5-star security.
I'm sure you would have been successful at that, Chris.
Yeah, for like 5 seconds. Yeah. And then Billy clubbed to death. Doesn't matter. It's worth it. It's a hell of a way
Just
to die.
make sure someone takes a picture
It'll
of it.
look cool on my tombstone.
Yeah.
I have not stopped listening to the, me and Aaron and I were lucky enough to get a set list from the stage after the show was over. So I immediately went home, made a playlist of the show. Out of the 8 songs, I think 6 of them were from the new CD. From what I've heard so far, I can't stop hearing it. It's fucking good.
Really?
And Jericho as a performer, it suits him well. He pulls it off really good. And at the performance live, the crowd was getting into it. It didn't help that I had a happy drunk with me, so we did millions of dollars chants, and we swung our arms, and the 4 of us got together and did all that. We did yes chants, we did Y2J chants, we did Fozzy chants. I started yes chants, and everybody got into it.
Nice.
It was a hell of an experience experience between the atmosphere, the small crowd, being that close to Fozzy, the group I was with. It was top notch. It was a good show. I can't wait for them to come back.
Now, Chris, out of the 3 of us, I would say that you're probably the biggest music buff out of all of us. How does Fozzy compare to everything else?
How do you mean?
Like,
as far as the live aspect goes, right? So just, yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Like the live aspect, I mean, the quality of the music and stuff, because I've always been under the impression, again, I'm not really a music guy, but I've always been under the impression that, Fozzy's okay, and it's cool to listen to it, cause, cause he was a wrestler, but in the music world, Fozzy isn't all that well respected, and it's not all that quote unquote good. What's your opinion of that, being the music guy out of all
If anything,
this?
that would probably just be because of the stigma of a pro wrestler being the lead singer and the assumption that their fans are only because the lead singer of Fozzy is Chris Jericho.
I can second that. When I was at the music store waiting for the autograph, I was overhearing like other people talking, and one guy said, a couple older guys, they're saying, "Hey, you gonna stick around for this Fozzy autograph signing in the concert?" He's like, "Fozzy? No, I'm not gonna waste my time with that. They got the lead singer who was a WCW wrestler, and they named their band after a Muppet. I ain't gonna sit around for that." So I think that's a generalization up there.
But I was surprised that other than Aaron, the mark that he is, and maybe 2 other guys that had Jericho paraphernalia on them, everyone else was either there for Saxon or there because they liked Fozzy as a group.
Okay.
If you took out Chris Jericho's vocals, the music, at times sounds like Chevelle, sounds like Breaking Benjamin, sounds like As I Lay Dying. There's a song called Blood Happens that has this riff that kind of sounds like Through Struggle from As I Lay Dying. And the reason I like it so much is because I didn't get into As I Lay Dying until I heard that song, and that was... I forget the wrestler's name, but when we went to the Ring of Honor show for WrestleMania, the first night, he used that song as an entrance, so it kind of came all full circle that all the music and wrestling tied together.
Gotcha.
Just hearing the sounds alone, it's fucking good, dude. It's real good.
Freaking.
That too, freaking. Yeah, it's good. It's bananas, man.
Awesome. Well, cool.
Awesome.
That was pretty cool. Now, while you were there watching Fozzy, me and Travis, we went to a wrestling show.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we went to TASW's LaPorte Rumble, which was, kind of in our neck of the woods, this side of town. So I was like, what the hell, why not? Let's go check it out. And it was at the Wiener Robinson Theater, which,
It's pronounced Wine.
Wine, yes.
Jerk.
Yeah, I've never been to that place before, and it looked like, an actual theater. And Travis, you were telling me that one time it was a movie theater for big screen movie type
Yeah, I think
stuff.
I was wrong on that. I think it was just a performance theater before in the past, and it was shut down for a long time. I think they just recently renovated it. So.
Well, it was interesting the way that they had the setup.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty much there in the actual rows of where people would normally be seated. That's where the ring was, except they just took the backs off of the chairs and put the ring on top of it. This was really crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was like the side where we were all sitting, which was, the chairs there. It was like 1 or 2 rows away from the ring. And, was it Cristiano? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cristiano, he actually mid-match made a comment
he was going to roll out of the ring.
Yeah, he was going to roll out of the ring.
And he stopped and paused and was like, whoa, what is this?
Well, land on the chairs. These chairs are too close. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a nice little experience. There wasn't, a lot of us there, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But I think that, they said that they were going to come back in November. Yeah. And I would hope that more people start going because that was a darn good show. All the matches were all pretty good.
Yeah, kind of a small card, like 6 matches. Like 5 regular matches and the Rumble at the end of the show.
Yeah. I mentioned in there, Eddie and Cristiano. And, I was telling you, while we were there, I said, I think this was the best Cristiano match that I'd ever seen. The best match involving him. And he kind of came out of the show there. Like whenever we've seen him at other places like ROW and things like that, he's always been kind of serious. But here, he was kind of letting loose and he was being kind of funny.
He was like heel Santino.
Yeah, heel Santino, a little bit more, serious, not quite as wacky.
Running the ropes back and forth.
Yeah.
And just jaw jacking with the crowd. So.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then, what's his name? Mysterious Q, he had, a darn good match, with Ryan. And then we had, Thunderjet versus, let me see here. What was this guy's name? Estrella Galactica. Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah, two masked guys. Of course, they had to have the Lucha Libre style, but that match was really good, really fast paced. A lot of good lucha in there. It was pretty cool.
We did have Kinsey versus Reina.
Yeah.
And as that match was going on, I looked around. There's a couple old guys with their cell phones recording the match.
Oh, it wasn't a couple. There was a good 3 or 4 dudes behind us with their cameras out recording and taking pictures.
I don't know. I was cheering for both of them. So
perving out. Yeah. And they had a neat little match. It was pretty good.
Yeah, Kinsey doing the Shining Wizard as a finisher.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, she did pretty good.
Nice.
So, I mean, top to bottom, that was, it was a good card. It was a good show. All the guys
my only, criticism would be cut back on the intermissions.
Yeah, there's 2 intermissions.
For a 6 card. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they were 10, 15 minutes each. You're like, okay, that's...
Yeah. Well, I mean, it gave us a chance to, walk around and talk to people and, pass out our cards and that type of thing. So it was beneficial for us. But, as a regular wrestling fan, yeah, two intermissions for a card that only has 6 matches. Yeah, that was kind of...
That was my only real complaint about it was just number of intermissions.
Yeah. So. But other than that, I mean, the show was really, really good. It almost felt like, they knew that there wasn't a whole lot of people there. They knew it was their first time in this venue.
Mm-hmm.
So all the wrestlers just kind of let loose and decided, you know what? We're just going to have a good time, have some fun, and just put on a great show just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did. And it came off looking and feeling really good. And, you know, it also helped that we had a really, really drunk guy sitting in front of us.
You met a friend, Abel.
I did. He popped at some of the crazy stuff I've said, and then he was saying crazy stuff, and it was making us laugh. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
I was laughing out of embarrassment for him, but hey, it was still funny.
Yeah, it was entertaining, you know.
Nice.
So, yeah, that was pretty cool. All of that happened on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then Sunday, we had a little get-together here at the studios for celebrating our...
39 Gold Studios.
La Cocina.
La Cocina Studios. I like that.
I don't know what that means.
It means the kitchen.
Oh.
Yeah. In Spanish.
That's the part where you say, si. Si.
Thank you, Travis. Anyway, we had a little get-together, a little shindig for us to kind of celebrate us having been doing this for a whole year. That's pretty crazy. The actual date is October the 2nd, so that's tomorrow, but, you know, that's on a Wednesday, so we're like, let's get together on the weekend,
We
whatever.
don't need an excuse to get together. We just show up and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, we got together. We were chilling out. You know, we watched you know, some stuff on the telly there.
What did we watch?
We watched. You're gonna make me say it.
Try to say it right.
Okay. WWE's Top 25 Rivalries DVD.
Yeah.
Yay!
Take the helmet off, son.
Rivalries.
You bastard.
But it was fun. You know, we had a couple. You know.
Yeah,
Couple of people over. We had Scott here from Stoppage Time, and you know, so it was pretty cool.
And it's available now to listen, download, and
Yep.
If you have ears, there's no excuse. Download it.
Yep.
we do it. It's interesting. We just did a little running commentary on the DVD, the top 5 feuds of all time, and
We talked about trying to do that and actually came off pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it. We might do more often.
I like it.
Yeah, for other maybe like special occasions or just for the hell of it type of things. Yeah, we might do little episodes in between the main weekly shows here and there. So, yeah, why not?
Why not?
All right, cool.
All right.
You know, another
It's a date.
another just little tidbits. Just want to talk a little bit about you know, we're gonna put ourselves over a little bit about 1 year. We kind of outlasted a few things here. I would imagine. You know, Saturday Morning Slam kind of came and went.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And main event is no longer
We outlasted its relevance.
a little bit. Yes, it's relevant. It's still around, but you know it's irrelevant. So I
I
think
took it off my DVR settings.
you're not even recording it now.
I'm not even recording.
Yeah.
The last like 3-4 weeks I haven't watched it, so
Yeah,
if something happens, we'll hear about it on the interwebs there. So
yeah, and yeah. So you know, I think we've had a rather successful year. We've really grown a lot, and that's you know thanks to a lot of people, and thanks to the listeners for putting up with us and
Ole.
helping us out and all that. But I mean, we might get to you know some more specifics as far as thanks and all that towards the end of the episode, maybe. But thank you for listening. Let's go ahead and get into what's made us famous already.
To the 12 people that now listen to the show.
Yeah. And let's talk a little bit of wrestling from this week. Shall we start with TNA?
Go for it.
All right, TNA. So, last week...
now wait, before we start here,
Okay.
for TNA, Chris pointed out before we started recording that it ends up as TNA bashing.
That is true.
So
most of the time our TNA talk is negative.
We'll do our best to, or maybe we won't, I don't know, to not bash.
Let's start from the beginning. I've got a match of the week candidate. It's Austin Aries against Kenny King.
Yes, I agree. That was a darn good match. And, you know, we brought this up last week where you were posing the question to us, Chris, that if anybody, or if we could restart TNA just out of nowhere, who would we make our top feud? And my pick was Austin Aries versus Kenny King.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
I had goosebumps the first 30 seconds when he came out because I was like, "Holy dog shit, this is actually happening."
It's
I was
like,
like, I've already had trouble sleeping. Now I'm having trouble thinking what's real and what's not because I just saw that on my TV. It's like, holy crap, is it November already? Jesus.
and you know, I
Good
mean,
call.
needless to say, I like the decision.
Right.
You know, Kenny King, I think he's a great talent. He's underrated, underutilized, and he could probably, you know, put on some awesome matches with Austin Aries. And he did. And he did it while being busted open, presumably the hard way. Because I didn't see where there was a...
Probably the steel steps.
But do you think that would have been the kayfabe, like he cut himself?
The steel...
the ramp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think it was planned for him to bleed, or do you think it was the hard way?
Doesn't really bother me one way or the other.
Okay.
TNA doesn't plan that kind of stuff. If it happens, they just go with it and they just keep going with it.
Well, to their credit, you know,
Yeah.
that's how it should be with wrestling. If something happens, just roll with it. You know, all that improvisation there is a big quality.
I prefer that over someone getting cut and they stop the match and
Have a trainer come out and towel them up.
This ain't MMA. This ain't boxing. Let's go.
Yeah. Come on, princess, suck it up.
Little blood.
Bitch, I got bills to pay.
So yeah, well, Trav, what do you think? Do you think that's a match of the week there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, match of the week.
Where are you
candidate.
trying to go, Travis?
Nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Match of the week candidate, yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. We'll get to other matches of the week once we get there, and we'll see, you know, how this one stacks up to some others. But, you know, is that enough of that? Shall we move on to something else?
Go for it. What else is on there?
All right, cool. Well, let's talk a little bit about some returns that are going to be happening, that they teased on this past episode of Impact. Lady Tapa is scheduled to return.
Good. They need more women.
They do. They really do.
They have 2.
Yeah, we talked about this last week. We even said that the 4 girls that were in that match when we interviewed Taylor Hendricks, you know, Boston Twins, Taylor Hendricks and Lady Tapa, is like, why didn't TNA try to reach out and hire them or put them on TV? And, well, lo and behold, hey, we're getting Lady Tapa. So there we go.
I was watching that on, I noticed that during Impact is like, okay, you have a depleted roster of the Knockouts, and then on top of that, you have Brooke as a valet and Velvet as a valet.
Right. Which they don't really need to be valets, or they could be valets and wrestlers. Yeah. I don't see why they have them as just valets right now. I mean, it's just depleting the Knockouts division even more.
Yeah, makes no sense. But okay, that's all.
Okay, so
observation.
Yeah, so Lady Tapa's coming in, and I think that's a positive for TNA.
Her versus ODB.
That could be darn good.
That's going to be awesome.
That could be a very savage fight for a knockout match. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool to see a really knockdown, drag out fight with those 2.
I couldn't really get into Lady Tapa versus Ivelisse just because of size difference.
Yeah.
I think with her and ODB, I think that will be.
And, well, I mean, with Lady Tapa and Ivelisse, it was for gut check, and, you know, it was their first time, and there was no storyline going into it. So I would imagine that if we had, let's say, Lady Tapa versus Gail Kim at some point, like, if they built that properly, that could wind up being good, despite the size difference there. But, I mean, Gail Kim's had awesome matches with bigger girls, like, for example, Awesome Kong.
Yeah.
Awesome Kong versus Gail Kim in a steel cage for the Knockouts title. That was a freaking great match. So, Lady Tapa being added is a positive.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing for TNA. Another thing that TNA, or another person rather, that TNA says going to be coming in is Ethan.
I have no idea about this.
Me either. I have no idea who this guy is.
No spoilers or anything on the internets to give you any indication of who the hell this guy is. You just see the name and you're like, okay.
Do they know?
Is this a good thing, though? That TNA setting up pretty much a surprise.
Fresh blood.
Fresh blood, someone new, someone we don't know. The IWC is not like all up in it saying, oh, well, we know who this is going to be.
What if it turns out to be a former WWE guy again?
Then that would not be good. I think that they...
For whatever reason, for some reason, I have it in my head, it's Matt Striker.
No, not with the bling. That wouldn't fit Matt Striker, because the whole font...
I'm thinking of a flamboyant John Morrison.
Okay.
John
John Morrison, okay.
if we're going past WWE talent.
Oh, well, the way that the font was with the bling and all that, I wasn't thinking somebody flamboyant. I was thinking of maybe, like some sort of having something to do with hip hop or something like that. Yeah, whatever. And I was trying to think, well, who's out there? Maybe they're repackaging Pope, but that wouldn't make sense. Yeah. I don't know.
That crowd will be chanting Pope, Pope, Pope. No, it doesn't work. Like they,
Bring in
we'll get to that part
yeah,
a little bit.
Let's for right now. I want to say it's gonna be someone fresh, someone we haven't seen before. Hopefully,
and I hope so. And hey, why the hell not? I mean, TNA needs talent right now. And that's a positive. Now there was a third vignette that was actually played a couple of times for another return/debut. Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's coming back. He's coming back at the Hall of Fame ceremony there for Bound for Glory, and I'm guessing this means that he's going to also be back to the main roster to actually, wrestle and stuff. So,
well, they didn't say. All he said was he returns. He didn't say nothing about wrestling or anything.
Well, that's true, but how are you going to say that he returns without having him, be returned to the roster full time? Whether or not he's wrestling or not, or just part of the main event mafia, just a suit talking or whatever. I mean, he didn't have an injury that prevents him from wrestling. He went out for rehab, which, if he's all cleaned up, I'm sure he could wrestle still. Mm-hmm. So either way, in whatever capacity he's coming back, this is also good for TNA. Because, it's Kurt Angle. He's one of their main top big name guys. And yeah, he was a WWE guy, and we give TNA a lot of crap for, they were only bringing WWE guys to showcase them. But with Angle, it's almost forgivable.
TNA has been good to Kurt Angle, so.
And Kurt Angle's been good to TNA, so. All three of those have me optimistic for the short-term future of TNA.
Well, these next few weeks, it's I think the breaking point, it's going to let us know exactly what's going on. You got Bound for Glory coming up.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to be lining everything up the best they can.
Yeah. Chris, what do you think?
It hasn't changed my opinion. I'm watching Bound for Glory for a different reason. Like I'm not going to try to get into the clubbing session, but regardless, I'm still looking forward to it to see how this unfolds. Like Bound for Glory, if it's their biggest WrestleMania, the pieces that they have right now can make for a very interesting Bound for Glory.
Okay.
Assuming that let's assume for assumption's sake that there's at least another year left. The stuff that's going on right now, they're bringing in Lady Tapa, they're bringing in a couple of fresh faces. The stuff that's going on with the Mafia, Aries, X Division, what they do here could very well be on the track to destruction or the other side where the grass is greener.
Okay.
And from just by looking, not to sound like a mark, Austin Aries versus Kenny King brought my hope levels up a lot.
Okay.
And ODB wrestling brought my hopes back a lot. There's still potential there. It just depends how they utilize it.
It has been a bit of a roller coaster ride when we've been talking about TNA here.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's been on the downward side of the roller coaster for a long time. But, there's little bright spots that, like you said, help your hope levels a little bit. Now, having said all that, let's get to some of the things that are kind of questionable. Let's talk a little bit about the whole thing with AJ and Hogan and Dixie. Hogan decided to give AJ a brand new contract. AJ went ahead and signed it and said, all right, cool. And then Dixie comes out and rips it all up and says, no, pretty much. I could kind of see where they're going with this. But then again, I'm hoping that I'm wrong because I'm waiting for the twist. I said this last week. I'm willing to give TNA the benefit of the doubt to see that they're going to not rehash this storyline with Punk or whatever other typical storyline was out there with the champ who doesn't have a contract is leaving with the belt type thing. Because I'm hoping that they'll be able to do some sort of twist on it. But so far, it seems as though they're not going to go with whatever twist. So far, it seems as though they're going to have a guy that doesn't have a contract fighting for the title who could more than likely win the title and not be under contract. That really seems like where they're going with this, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing.
it's kind of hard to swallow because if you a wrestler that won the Bound for Glory series should be under contract to wrestle for the for the title at Bound for Glory. But if that said wrestler is no longer under contract, then why should the technicality of being the Bound for Glory winner still exist? Like if AJ's not on your company anymore, to hell with him. Who's in second place? Magnus. Give it to Magnus.
Yeah.
You know.
And she might do. We have a couple weeks until Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
So there might be some more shenanigans that are going to come into play with this.
Well, I'm waiting for the twist. I really want the twist to happen to deviate from the blueprint that
this is going.
Yeah, that this is going towards. Something that makes this different. But so far, not yet. So I don't know if this is necessarily a good thing right now. I mean, it's setting up some stuff, especially with the ultimatum that she gave Hogan. You need to make a decision, which I'm kind of hazy on what the ultimatum is. Usually an ultimatum is it's either going to be this or that. Well, I don't know what the this or the that is, but all I know is Hogan has a decision to make. Is it a decision between, Chex Mix or Cheerios? I have no idea. I really don't know.
She pretty much laid it out on the episode. You're either on Team Dixie or you're not.
What's Team Dixie?
The Team Dixie part is that Hulk Hogan's contract's expiring and they don't know if he's going to renew it. So if this is a way to write Hogan off storyline-wise off of television, just like they wrote off Kane Anderson television-wise, then that's probably what will end up happening.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. But like I said, I'm hoping for the awesome twist.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Ken Anderson there. Well, there's another little bit of good news. Ken Anderson pretty much went on the interwebs and stuff this week and pretty much said that he's going to re-sign with TNA. Mm-hmm. And that's good because Anderson, even though he's kind of been underutilized over the past, year and a half, I think that he's a good talent who could really help TNA. And hell, I think he's a good talent who could really help WWE. Wherever he goes, he'll be an asset to the company. And if he stays with TNA, great. I really hope that they'll give him some sort of prominent push, kind of like the push that he had when he first came into TNA. Like I said, they kind of fumbled him, recently, but I thought with this whole thing with him being the vice president of Aces and Eights and him getting into Bully's face and all this, that, I thought it was great. And it's kind of sad that they had to kind of write him out of storyline because it was just kind of coming to a climax almost, but I felt like they never got to that climax.
I think I could understand what you mean with the Anderson storyline or his career in TNA because that gimmick where he picked up right where he left off with WWE with the microphone drop and everything.
Yeah.
98% of that he did in the Impact Zone. That gimmick was crazy over when he was in WWE. And and with the company now starting to be on the road doing the Impact tapings, that would have been a perfect character and a perfect gimmick to have live in the audience, mm-hmm. to have more people say, "Oh, I want to be in person when he does that, so I can do it with him."
Yeah.
And so when they started hitting the road and he joined up with the Aces and Eights, he just became another cog in the Aces and Eights machine rather than standing
Mm-hmm.
out. I don't know if you noticed how the crowd reacted when he was doing his original Ken Anderson shtick while Bully Ray was knocked out on the floor when they did the title thing. And I was like, "Oh wow, they're gonna bring him back. They're gonna let they're gonna bring back that microphone gimmick." And then when he just got written off because of the contract situation about him resigning, I was like, "Oh man, that was a wasted opportunity."
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So it's good to hear that the possibility of him coming back, and just want to see where it goes.
Well, with him resigning, and with the current storyline of the Aces and Eights, what I think is going to happen is that once the Aces and Eights thing comes to a head, somehow Anderson is going to be involved in taking out Bully. Him and, Wes Briscoe and presumably Bischoff and then Nux, who are going to be excommunicated from the Aces and Eights, I would imagine, soon. I'll come back to beat up, Bully, and I hope that leads to Anderson kind of either being a part of a new stable or Anderson going off on his own but still being prominent enough to where he's fighting the top heel, as in Bully. Now, I bring up Briscoe because Briscoe lost.
Got taken out.
He got taken out. He's no longer in the Aces and Eights. So, the Aces and Eights are quickly becoming the ones and twos. It's just Bully, Briscoe, and Nux now.
And Miss Tessmacher.
You know, we've always, and I'm not just us, but everybody's kind of always compared Aces and Eights to NWO. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish NWO did what Aces and Eights did. It's kind of, they do their own file and rank. You know, they lose match, you're out.
Yeah.
You know, if NWO did that, I think NWO might have not fizzled out the way they did in the long run, because they got so much, you know, they never got rid of anybody.
If they would have fizzled, I think watching some of the old NWO stuff at the house, if they would have fizzled out this way, then there would have been a lot better and a lot bigger acceptance of the quote unquote NWO 2000 when we got Jeff Jarrett and Bret Hart and Scott Hall and Nash. Yeah. And whether or not Bret's concussion or whatever had to do with that NWO 2000 lasting only a couple of weeks, it would have been a lot better story wise.
It would have been more special.
It would have been killed because it didn't really like have a definitive end. It just kind of like broke itself off and just festered, and then somehow it just came back together all over again. Like there was never really an end point. Yeah. To us for them to reestablish a new start point and just go from there. So I'm kind of digging where they're going with Aces and Eights there. It didn't ruin it, but it kind of did affect the whole Rampage Tito junk. Yeah. But at the end of the day,
they're already done. They're
the
done.
Aces and Eights storyline. They're another positive of them knowing when to stop it rather than just let it drag out.
Yeah, and you know that was the biggest thing that we had said about the Aces and Eights a year ago. You know, that this thing doesn't need to get out of control the way the NWO did, and it needs to have an eventual end. It needs to have a stopping point. The Aces and Eights as a heel stable needs to be defeated. And so far, it looks like they're going down that path, and they're hanging on by just, you know, a couple of fingers before they drop off the side of the cliff. And that's a good thing.
The way they're going, they might not even make it to Bound for Glory. It might just be Bully and Brooke.
Yeah.
Which is fine, you know, because it started around this time last year, so it's nice.
Which, you know, I'm okay with that because it seems as though come Bound for Glory, the story isn't going to be Aces and Eights. The major storyline's not going to be the Aces and Eights. Hopefully, Bound for Glory is the end of the Aces and Eights and the beginning of whatever this storyline is with AJ and Dixie and Hogan and all that. You know, transition from that big 1 year or almost 2 year long storyline to whatever the new storyline that they have planned with. Again, going back to the whole thing with AJ, I'm not sure.
Because it's not technically a new storyline. That's already been festering for a year.
Right. You know, so we'll see how that winds up playing out. But it'll shift the focus from Aces and Eights, Aces and Eights, Aces and Eights to whatever this new thing is with AJ. Yeah. So hey, look, another positive. Who'd have thunk it? You know, hey, we could actually do a show without bashing TNA, right?
All right. Now the part that I really hated about TNA. I'm just kidding.
Well, actually, no, you said that.
Actually, it's been 2 weeks so far. Is there any observations you'd like to make about Dixie being a heel?
2 weeks ago, I think she did a really, really good job delivering her pipe bomb. But this past week, she seemed a little shaky. She seemed a little nervous.
I don't think she was. The thing that threw me off was that the first time with AJ last week, she was in your face, loud, aggressive, angry, rah. This week, it looked like she wanted to make out with Hogan.
No, this week is more of she was a character.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, who's on, you know, Team Dixie, and then she's being smarmy and sarcastic and everything. Yeah,
I didn't get the vibe that 1 second she was like chewing out AJ Styles' ass, and then once AJ left, she turned around to Hogan like, "Hey, baby, you gonna be on Team Dixie, baby? You know, you want some of this, or are you gonna throw it back? What you gonna do, man? What you want, man? I got you right here, man." That's what, like the transition from pissed off to like erotic, kind of, because you saw how she was like feeling up on Hogan's chest and like messing with his mustache or whatever, like getting close to him, like, "I know you make the right decision, baby." Like that just didn't, like it didn't work. Like this bipolar, like angry, sexy woman just didn't. It just threw me off. Like the same complaint I had with Triple H, that he needs to either be a heel or a face. You need to either be a bitch or a turn on. Figure it out and go for it, you know. And I prefer her being the bitch because she pulls it off.
Yeah.
The whole bragging about how it's the 1% of the world that makes the world that builds the 1% that builds the world for you 99%ers to live in.
Yeah.
She came up with there were some good lines there.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give it to her. Whether she came up with it on her own or someone wrote it for her, even if someone else wrote it for her, she pulled it off good. So I like where it's going. Another potential. I like it because she should just embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
People don't like her. But
Yeah.
so
Now, let's talk about something that's potentially not so good. Saban's heel turn. You know, I don't know, man. It seems like all of this is just too fast.
they busted their nut way too quick with this. That should have been a Bound for Glory match easy.
Mm-hmm.
They could have built that up so easy.
Yeah. And as far as Manic being a face, I would buy it if they embraced TJ and not Manic. You know?
So he would be a good face if you could see his face.
Exactly.
There you go.
You know, if they allow TJ to be TJ, and you know, even he could wrestle with the mask. That's fine. But when you have the backstage segments with them and all this and that, it's like, yeah, I'm TJ. I have this character where I like to wear a mask or whatever. Like, do something like that. But this whole like, well, we're not really supposed to know who TJ is, even though we do already know, and it's Manic, but not.
Yeah, wasn't
like,
there a spot during the
stupid.
match where Saban tried to pull his mask off and he like grabbed his mask and like held it on? It's like,
Yeah, it's like, dude,
just take your mask off.
Just take his mask off. It was like as if he was trying to pull off your shoe. It's, you know,
This isn't Rey Mysterio with the family heritage of years and years of wearing the mask. This is
Yeah.
TJ. We've already seen him without the mask. We know who he is without the mask. Why?
and it's not a luchador character. It's
Yeah.
just a masked wrestler character.
It's a video game character.
Yeah.
Ah,
no, that was suicide. You're trolling wrong.
the hell.
All right, so I think we're done. I think we've spent enough time on TNA this week. Let's move on to something else.
Okay.
You guys will like what they end up doing with the X Division. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Wow, that's such a tease there. You spoiler reading?
I gotta keep you on your toes, baby.
I guess so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, per Travis's requests, let's move on to WWE.
Yes.
We have a pay-per-view this weekend.
Already?
Yes.
You sure?
Dude, that snuck the hell up on me.
Yeah, me too.
That's a nice groan there, Chris.
I practiced that on the drive over here.
So, Chris,
bet
what
you
do you
did.
think about the pay-per-view?
It made him holler.
Shit. It's if you watch Night of Champions, you don't need to waste your money on this.
Yeah.
It has the same setup. We've only got 5 matches on the card. We have another match on the pre-show.
It's the same
There's
main
way
event
too
matches.
much. There's way too much space on this show for it not to begin or have another moment where it's another episode of Raw. Like if it's an episode of Raw, why drop 40, 50, 60 bones in HD to watch it? You know.
Yeah.
I'm as much of a wrestling geek as I am. I'm not psyched for this.
I'm not psyched for it either, and honestly, it snuck up on me. I didn't realize that it was this upcoming weekend. Like, I thought it was at least another week
Was
or two
that because
away.
Punk said in his opening promo that next Sunday is the pay-per-view when in fact it's this freaking Sunday?
No. It was even before that. But yeah, you're right. No, I felt like there hasn't been enough build-up yet for it to already be pay-per-view time. Like, I just assumed that going by the feel of the development of all the storylines that it's not ready for the pay-per-view yet. And then, you know, when you brought it up, Travis, I think it was you that told me, hey, yeah, pay-per-view's this weekend. I'm like, what? It is? Oh, God, it is. Yeah. Holy crap. So, I don't know if WWE's really been doing a good job with this,
Yeah,
to build
Raw
up
this
for it.
week, as far as being a go-home episode, they didn't do a good job.
They ain't going home.
I think Raw was good, but you're right. As a go-home show, it wasn't
It
good.
needed to be better.
Yeah.
There were matches on Raw that had no effect for the pay-per-view at all. And then we can go into the matches. You can see these matches don't even make any sense in my mind. But
Well, it's not that them don't make sense. It's just, well,
Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go do
from the top down. Main event. What's the main event of the pay-per-view?
Okay.
same way as last month.
Main event pay-per-view, D-Bry versus Randy Orton for a WWE title. The only thing is that right now there's not a title holder. So the title is being held in a van.
I believe the proper term is abeyance.
Abeyance?
Yeah, abeyance.
Okay. I thought it was being held in a van.
I thought it was advance.
In advance? Okay.
None of us are making any sense right now, so
Yeah,
it doesn't
okay.
really matter who says what.
Basically,
We're
the
going to
title
have a
is,
champion this Sunday.
and the title's vacant right now
Thank you.
because it's in a van.
I don't know why Triple H doesn't say vacant.
Yeah, down
Because
by
he
the
wants to
river.
sound professional.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like Scott Armstrong's cadence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I've heard of that before. I've never heard of.
Well, I've heard it too, just not 10 times in one sentence.
Yeah. Well, and Cole just keeps on repeating.
Yeah, well, Cole's cold.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
Whatever. All right. So, Randy Orton versus D-Bry. I'm okay with this. It'll probably be a pretty good match. They've been building Randy Orton and D-Bry, and I think that this one, this match, this feud is probably the one that is the most fleshed out of everything else on the card.
And that's not saying much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. True. But, I'm still looking forward to it. You know, if it was this and then like other good, well-developed feuds, then I'd be happy with it. But this is the most developed and everything else is kind of underdeveloped, so it makes this seem even worse. But it's not all that bad, because hell, D-Bry's been on fire, and, you know, the Randy Orton heel turn's been good for Orton, and it's made him interesting, it's made him a little bit more aggressive, so I like all that. But, I don't know, we might have kind of the same outcome as we did at Night of Champions.
It's like this. The same thing when Night of Champions came around. D-Bry won. I couldn't celebrate because I knew there was going to be some kind of something happen eventually to his title reign. And then I could see the same thing happening again. If Orton wins, it's going to be because of some kind of interference or something that's going to cause him to win. Or if D-Bry wins, something's going to happen and it's going to get reversed or restarted or some other BS.
If D-Bry wins, you won't be able to celebrate.
Yeah, exactly. It's a repeat of last month in this one.
Chris?
I agree.
Okay.
Between the ending of SummerSlam where Orton came out of nowhere and then Night of Champions where we all knew that it was a fast count and for some reason it just played on, it kind of set the tone that every time that Bryan wins, something's going to happen.
Now, that being said, what are your predictions?
I'm sticking to my prediction that Orton wins.
Orton will just win straight up, 1, 2, 3?
Orton will leave with the title. However it happens.
The match, I'm going to say D-Bry.
Okay. I'm going to say also D-Bry. D-Bry's going to win and win the title. I don't think that they're going to do the exact same thing, that they're going to strip him come Raw or something, but somehow the victory is going to be tainted, but he'll walk out with the belt, but tainted enough to where Triple H can still justify putting him in some sort of crazy ass match or something, or whatever. I basically, it's going to be like at the end of Night of Champions where D-Bry's going to win, but I'm not going to be able to celebrate.
I'm just going to be waiting for whatever.
Waiting for the screw job.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a perfect setup for Hell in a Cell. Somebody is going to come interfere. Orton's going to wind up winning the belt. Bryan's going to want a rematch where nobody can interfere, and the only way to do it is to put him inside.
Wait, is there still Hell in a Cell pay-per-view?
Yeah, it's at the end of October.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, so we get 2 pay-per-views this month?
God.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. And that's all before
Survivor Series.
Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So basically, this pay-per-view.
It's kind of pointless.
But no. What I was going to say is that this pay-per-view has room for shenanigans to be another screw job ending,
right? So
that maybe D-Bry won't have the title and can. Because basically, I think that a lot of this is building up to a payoff at Survivor Series for a 5-on-5. You know, but we've discussed that many a time, and I think that by the time we get to the Survivor Series 5-on-5, D-Bry would have at that time the title, and that way it's not a title match, but it's a 5-on-5 for control of the company or something stupid like that. Well, maybe not control of the company, but you get my drift.
Just to further the rivalry.
Yes, the rivalry. So maybe this means that D-Bry will finally win the title at Hell in a Cell, maybe? Without any shenanigans where we can finally celebrate, because it's in a cell, nobody can get in, get out, whatever, quote unquote. Because we all know about that. Yeah.
Crazier things have happened.
Crazier things have happened. Okay. Well, alright. Anything else you want to say about that, or shall we move on?
No, we can move on.
Okay, let's move on. I don't want to do the other two main events type matches. Let's go up from the bottom up because I don't want to end on like the matches that don't matter. So let's go to the very, very beginning of the card. On the pre-show, we're going to have Dolph Ziggler versus Damien Sandow. What? Why? That is completely out of nowhere.
They spent this whole time with Ambrose versus Ziggler, Usos versus Shield. And then on Raw, we had a 6-man tag with all of them in there. And now we're going to have Ziggler versus Sandow? Where's Sandow been this whole month anyways?
That's exactly what they want.
Oh, really, Chris? Please enlighten us.
He's going to lose.
Who?
Ziggler's going to beat Sandow, and then Sandow's going to cash the title later. He's going to cash in the Money in the Bank that night.
Think so?
That's what happened with Edge. They had Edge when he first cashed in that pay-per-view. He didn't have a random match, but his match with Ric Flair that night wasn't built up that heavy. Like, it was just put together for him to wrestle on the card, and Edge lost. And everybody thought, the night's over. It's already pre-show. It was the first match of the night. Edge is already done for the night. He's going home. Wound up cashing the Money in the Bank briefcase at the end of the night with nobody seeing it coming. And I don't think that there's going to be a third. I sure as hell hope there isn't a third RVD versus ADR. So if they want to end it, especially with hardcore rules, the loser's going to be beat to hell anyway.
You're right.
Or the winner of the match will be beat to hell anyway. Why not roll Sandow out?
Okay.
Well, that being said, who wins that match? Well, we're not talking about the World Heavyweight title match.
We're talking about the Ziggler-Sandow match.
Ziggler wins it.
Okay, Ziggler wins it.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I didn't think about any of that you said, Chris. What I was more fixated on was the fact that it was just so random that we were going to have Ziggler versus Sandow. But, all that stuff that you're talking about does make sense.
Okay, that's good for Sandow to have a random match, but why Ziggler?
But why Ziggler? Yes, exactly. Why couldn't it have been Ryder or Miz or, just anybody, Kofi? Why does it have to be Ziggler? I don't know, man. Ziggler just...
because Ziggler's been in that feud with the Shield, who's being led by Triple H. So that would go back to having, how the Triple H stuff is spreading over both brands? That's where you have Ziggler climbing up the ranks to get the World Heavyweight title on the SmackDown side, like Daniel Bryan's trying to put up a fight to get the belt back on the Raw side.
Right now, Ziggler's not even close to that title anymore, I don't think.
hell, Ziggler lost against Ambrose for the U.S.
But
title.
it's easy for him to say, you know what, I just beat the heavyweight champion the same night that he became champion. I beat this guy already.
You know what? That's another good point.
So if I already beat this guy like 2 hours ago, what's to say that I don't deserve a title shot? I could do it again and take the belt.
I don't know.
Or does that make too much sense?
No. Well, that might be a case of it's too good, so it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But you have a point.
And it's cute that you still think there's a brain split.
That's it.
Oh, naive little Chris. Oh.
I do.
Crazy little Mark. Okay. All right, what's next?
All right. AJ versus Brie for the Divas title.
Brie?
You think Brie's going to win it?
They're really high on this Total Diva stuff. I don't know.
I think AJ's going to win it. That way AJ can continue with her, I'm going to beat every diva on the Total
Normally,
Divas
yes,
thing.
but this whole thing with her being tied in with D-Bry now?
I don't think she needs a title to be tied in with that main event scene with D-Bry.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Chris, you're a tiebreaker. What do you think?
Too soon. First match for Brie to win the title.
Okay.
So
you're going with AJ then?
I'm sticking with AJ, yeah.
Okay.
Me likey the AJ.
Well, we all like you, the AJ.
Mm-hmm.
I like AJ and Brie.
Well, you can. That's fine.
Thanks, buddy.
You could even like Nikki, too.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the list. I can't wait for what's next. Get to it.
All right.
Yeah.
This is probably the one match that I am more excited about than anything else on the card,
The only match
surprisingly.
I'm caring about in this whole pay-per-view.
Yeah. Team Rhodes versus The Shield.
The Rhodes Brothers.
The Rhodes Brothers. I
you
like
will.
this. Now, again, going back to what I said during our D-Bry Orton talk, I don't think that it's quite as fleshed out as D-Bry Orton. I think that there could have been more development on this, but...
For the time frame they've had, this makes sense.
Yes, it's developed well enough.
This is the part of the development that you don't want to miss.
Yes.
If they're continuing the storyline with the McMahons against the Rhodes, this is the part that you need to watch.
And all of the Rhodes' jobs are on the line.
Yeah.
So that makes me really want them to win so that we have Cody and Goldust on the same roster with plenty of time for them to build up a heel turn and a feud for one of the two so that at WrestleMania 30 we finally get brother versus brother.
No.
No.
No, I'm thinking that they're going to be the tag team that knocks the Shield off for the titles.
Yeah, but I mean after that, like further down the line.
You're thinking way too far, man.
You're thinking way too far.
All I'm saying is I want him on the roster so that this can happen. It's something that Cody has been wanting to do for a while. So
I had other plans in my head, but then Chris brought me down to reality. I didn't know that it was not for the tag team titles. When they first announced it, I thought it was for the titles.
There's too much at stake for them to add the titles to it. Right now, the only thing at stake is you want a job, you got to do this. It's not you either lose the job or you all get titles. Like that's too much too soon.
yeah.
So right now, get them back onto the roster, and then Hell in a Cell or Survivor Series.
But I could still see them bumping them
because
off.
the only reason I mentioned the titles is because every face team that's faced the Shield has lost. The Shield still held the titles. Like the only fresh team that's left that hasn't even gone up to them, but are already getting interaction is the Rhodes brothers. So why not have them win this match at Battleground and then set up Hell in a Cell or Survivor, or set up Hell in a Cell where the titles, and then set up the Survivor Series where the family makes a team and McMahon make a team and they all go for it.
Yeah. So, I think we're probably going to all be in agreement here that since it is non-title and since it is for their jobs, that the Rose Brothers are going to win. That way they can continue this feud, continue the storyline. They have jobs, now they're on the roster, and they can do more stuff with it. And, the Shield will still have the belt since it's non-title, so, I mean, does anybody disagree?
No.
I do.
Oh, God damn it. Chris, why do you disagree?
Because it's the Shield. Every time you think, you know what, these fuckers are going to beat the Shield, what happens?
They lose.
Yep.
To your point, I still say the Usos should have beat them.
Yeah.
I don't agree with them.
Somebody has to disagree. For some reason, I'm thinking somehow the Shield's going to pull something out of their anus and they're going to win, and then they're going to develop the storyline more towards them. I don't know. I have to be different. I'm saying the Shield's going to win.
Okay.
Something about me saying that the Shield's going to come out with this.
Okay. Well, you're entitled to your opinion, even if it's wrong.
Yeah, why not?
All right. We talked about this a little bit before. RVD versus ADR, hardcore rules. I really, really, really like what you said earlier about the whole cash-in with Sandow and, Sandow losing to Ziggler on the pre-show, so it's enough pretense for us to think that he's not going to. So, I love that.
I just need to move on. That's
Yeah.
it. The RVD, your contract's coming up. Don't come back. ADR, you're boring. I don't know what to do with you. Go away. Just start from scratch. Fuck it. Sandow, Ziggler, run, go.
Okay. So that being said, who is Sandow going to beat for the title? Who's going to be the title holder after this match?
RVD.
RVD? Okay.
Yeah.
It's his type of match. It could be a good send-off if he is taking a break here. Mm-hmm. And it's a heel cash in for the face
on the
champion.
face.
And everybody likes RVD, be even more
heat
for Sandow if he takes it off of
And
RVD.
then if he's like,
I think if he beats ADR if he cashes on ADR, people will be cheering for him.
yeah.
Just like Swagger cashing it on Jericho, heel on heel. He was getting the pop at the end of the night, and I kind of think that's where they went wrong to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole heel run fell flat when he got cheered the moment that he cashed it in on another guy. It just didn't work. Like it would be more beneficial, like Travis mentioned, have it on the hometown guy, the ECW town guy or whatever.
And hopefully, the way that will play out is that RVD will be quote unquote injured enough to where we won't have the obligatory RVD versus Sandow because he cashed it in and he gets his rematch, blah, 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 blah. Hopefully we'll get, like you were saying, Ziggler, who said, hey, I just beat you, and Ziggler and Sandow will be, I really like that idea.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. It's not going to happen now.
I know.
Said that.
Yeah.
Sure.
I meant to do that.
Okay. Okay, last but not least, CM Punk versus the Ryback. I really don't know what to make of this. I don't really know who's going to win. Honestly, I think that more people will probably lean towards CM Punk. That way Punk is getting closer and closer to getting his hands on Heyman. But I don't really know. I mean,
This one's a hard one to pick.
Is this another one of those matches where it really doesn't matter?
Who wins?
Yeah.
I think you're right. I don't think it matters. I think the storyline can continue and will continue either way. Because if Punk wins, he still hasn't got his hands on Heyman. If Punk loses, well, hey, he's got to, get another shot so he could get his hands on Heyman. So...
He got a piece of him on Monday.
He did.
It should be a Paul Heyman on a stick match or Paul Heyman on a pole match. Whatever.
It almost was on Raw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Travis, elaborate.
I
What
don't want
happened
to.
on Raw?
No, I don't want to.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Paul Heyman on a Ryback stick.
Yeah.
Explain.
Well, basically, Paul Heyman did some of the most brilliant double entendre homoeroticism I have ever seen on WWE programming. It was so hilarious where he was talking about people having open minds in this day and age and, how he loves quote unquote Ryback and he wants to make an honest man out of him. And
His hero.
His hero. And then he got down on one knee and said, Ryback, will you be a Paul Heyman guy? It's like, I thought he was going to say, will you be my, significant other,
My Darren Young.
Abel's over here with tissues in his hand.
Oh, I know.
Wiping tears.
Yeah, well, it wasn't just tears. And I know. So it was just so ridiculously over the top. And only Heyman could have pulled this off to make this entertaining.
Now, when you say hilarious and over the top, it was hilariously bad, by the way.
So bad that it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It, done the way only Heyman could do. If this was anybody else, it would not have been pulled off. It would have been terrible, ridiculous.
And it was borderline for him, too.
Yes. It was tough for him to even pull off, but he did.
Yeah.
He did. So.
Ryback was selling it, too, for his credit. He was kind of some facial expressions like, I don't know what you want from me, man.
But then he also kind of looked like he was into it.
He had a smirk, a little half smile there.
Yeah, it's like
that Ryback smirk.
He had this. Going into the final frontier, we are.
Approve of this, I do.
It was just so funny, so ridiculous. And I think this means that we now have the new Paul Heyman guy and being Ryback officially.
Yeah.
So
or do you have to wait till next week to see if he says yes?
It wouldn't be hilarious as if we had a ceremony to make him a Paul Heyman guy.
No. Instead of the wedding march, when they walk down the aisle, they'll have the old ECW music. Damn it! Damn it!
Yeah.
The rebuttal from CM Punk is just example number 4037 plus infinity of how the CM Punk storytelling is so much better than CM Punk the mic work. He sold the knee like $1 million.
That had
everyone was thrown off. Crowds, JBL, Paul, Ryback, they were all like, even Ryback wasn't quick to jump and just eat another down deer. Like he was like, what the hell's going on? Like this.
That crowd got quiet.
It wouldn't surprise me if they didn't feel the guys in on what they were gonna do.
Maybe.
Because they looked too surprised for it to be them playing it off. They might not have known what they were gonna do.
Yeah.
That's how, either that or that's how damn good Punk sold it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the announcers and everything, I mean, the only thing that threw it off and the only thing that caught my eye was the fact there's no medics, right to his side.
Yeah, the medic did take a little while to get there.
Yeah, that's it. If it wasn't for that, I would have been like, holy shit.
Medic's defense, Punk's been pushing him off every time he gets injured. Mm-hmm. So if I was a man, I'd be like, he can take care of himself.
He's best in the world.
Yeah, forget this guy.
He should have insurance.
Give him a salt tablet, he'll walk it off.
Put some tussin on it.
All right, so we tangent off there talking about the storyline, but let's get back to the match at Battleground. What's the dealio? Punk or Ryback?
I'll say Punk.
Chris?
It can go either way.
I'll say Ryback.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes. All right, Chris, do you have enough time, or should I come back in another minute or two?
It's not that difficult.
It's a no
Chris.
contest. I don't think so. I don't think anybody's gonna win.
No contest?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Why not?
Cop out. All right. Yeah.
Well, whatever.
That's what Chris does.
Okay, so
There's one of those in every pay-per-view. That's why I had to pick one.
You know what? You're right. That's all our predictions for Battleground.
For Battleground?
Razzle.
Do we anticipate this to be a good pay-per-view or a bad pay-per-view?
Right now, the writing on the wall says bad, but hey, they could turn around. They could be a good one.
Right.
I'm not paying for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not anticipating this to be a really great pay-per-view
I
either.
don't really care to watch it.
Yeah. But you're gonna.
I am.
Yeah.
That goes back to my boxing reference. You know, if you miss that one fight that Mayweather gets knocked out, you're going to regret it. So one way or another, there's
That's
enough,
real sports.
There's enough there that's going to make me want to watch it.
Okay.
But I'm not going to be enthused like WrestleMania, like paying attention 100%. I'm going to be distracted by a fart, let alone anybody's conversation or anything else that's happening in my periphery.
And when all of us get together, you know there's going to be a fart or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Aaron. In advance.
All right. Yeah, I think that Battleground has the potential of being good, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to live
It
up to
depends
that.
on how much they want their further storylines.
Yeah. I think it has a high ceiling, but it also has a really low floor. And right now, being the fact that it has a low floor, our expectations aren't that high. So, I don't have high expectations for it.
You confused the hell out of me with that analogy.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I know, I'm not. Okay.
The only thing I'm looking forward to is the codes. The codes.
The codes?
The codes.
The codes.
Hey, that's a good name for it, right?
Yeah.
No.
The code dust?
No.
I hate you guys.
Cody Rhodes and Goldust versus Shield. I'm wondering where they're going to go with that storyline. Maybe the next, as far as level of excitement for me, would probably be CM Punk versus Ryback. And then maybe D-Bry and Orton.
And then the rest of the card.
All two matches.
Okay. All right. So we'll have to report back next week, see, give it a fair shake, watch it, and hopefully we're not too terribly disappointed with it.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to serve it some more humble pie next week.
Maybe.
Question. Are
Yes.
you guys more interested in Battleground or in Bound for Glory?
Ooh, good question. Right now, Battleground, only because the only thing on Bound for Glory that I'm really interested in is whether they're going to do with AJ.
And plus, they haven't really fleshed out a card yet.
Yeah, I'm sure that if they flesh out a card...
Well, I was kidding.
No. Shut up, Mr.
Wait till
Slade.
Thursday.
Yeah.
I think there's enough with the AJ storyline that's got me invested to the point where if I had to choose right now, I'd pick Bound for Glory over Battleground.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of loose ends that need to be tied up. Like, if you guys can say right now that you guys can predict what's going to happen on the card, but you can't really tell what's going to happen with TNA because it's so volatile, that's what's got me more vested in Bound for Glory.
Let's kind of change the question a little bit. How many weeks away are we from Bound for Glory?
Well, they taped the second episode last week after last week's live episode, and then they have one more TNA. They have one more Impact taping where
So
they
that's
tape
2
two
weeks worth.
episodes. So that's this week's episode, and then next week is a live show, and then the week after that is the tape show, and then that Sunday is Bound for Glory.
So 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. So 3 weeks away from Bound for Glory. Are we more excited for Bound for Glory than we were when we were 3 weeks away from Battlefield? Battleground.
3 weeks
sorry.
ago we're talking about Night of Champions.
Champions.
Right.
Battleground wasn't even a thought in her head at that point.
So then, yeah, if you grade it on that scale, on that curve, yeah, I'm more excited for Bound for Glory. Okay. There you go.
All right.
It's October 20th for Bound for Glory.
That's kind of odd too, because usually Bound for Glory is like the first or second weekend
Of October?
Of October, yeah. Like the first weekend would be the first WWE pay-per-view, and then the next weekend.
I remember 10-10-10.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing about Battleground, which this kind of came when we were talking about it, I don't know, 2-3 months ago, that we thought that this was going to be another new concept pay-per-view.
It's not.
It's not at all. There's only one gimmick match, and that gimmick match is just street fight.
Which makes it even more missable for me.
Yeah. I was really hoping that was going to be some sort of concept gimmick type thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
No?
That's too much, though, dude. September, Night of Champions, all the belts are defended. October, if you would have had a gimmick pay-per-view Battleground where, we have all these gimmick matches. And then later on in October, we'd have Hell in a Cell. Oh my God, we got Hell in a Cell with 2 matches. Another gimmick. November, we'd have Survivor Series, 4-on-4, 5-on-5, classic Survivor Series. Another stipulation, another gimmick match. And then December, oh my God, tables, ladders, and chairs. We're going to have a tables match. That's too much gimmick because it's too long. Like, all these gimmick pay-per-views, they got to stop. Like, they're hindering the booking. Like, instead of booking, the pay-per-views cannot hinder the booking. The booking needs to project the pay-per-views.
Okay.
You can't let the pay-per-views mess with your booking. Like, we can't just have the feud now so that it can go through these steps. Like, it just doesn't make sense. A lot of the gimmick pay-per-views, they've had their time already. Just change it up. They tried to change it up. They had the Fatal 4-Way pay-per-view once. It failed. Okay, move on. They didn't do it. You know, at some point, a lot of these, they just gotta go.
What month was Fatal 4-Way in?
It was,
because what is Battleground replacing?
Over the Limit?
I thought Over the Limit was earlier, like summertime stuff.
No Mercy, I think. Because in October there was No Mercy. There was Hell in a Cell in the beginning, because I went to the Hell in a Cell in Dallas. And then later on in the month was No Mercy. And they swapped them around. Because last year, all they had was Hell in a Cell. They didn't have 2 pay-per-views
They
in
need
October.
to get rid of one of the pay-per-views in October.
They had it right last year. They didn't have 2 in October. They just had Hell in a Cell. Even though, again, too many gimmick pay-per-views in that short span, let alone if you spread them out over a year. There's still too many.
That's why they had that. They got rid of New Year's Revolution, or whatever it was called. You know, that was too many. That was Royal Rumble and New Year's Revolution. No one. Why buy that one with people?
The first one in Puerto Rico was awesome, though. Out of the country, some new environment, bringing back the Elimination Chamber, which at the time wasn't hoarded out like every other year now.
I do kind of wish they would go back to more international pay-per-views.
Yeah. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, but whatever.
It was a good test to do it in Puerto Rico. There's a lot of wrestling heritage down there.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have a pay-per-view in Mexico, but the way things are down there right now, like, I'm surprised they're even going to, I'm surprised they're going to Mexico right now for the tour that they're doing right now. Which, now that I mention it, we need to talk about the newest tag team in the division.
I was wondering when we were going to talk about this. So we've had months of build-up, these vignettes.
Mm-hmm.
So Abel, take it away. What do you think?
Okay, I was all jazzed up for it. I was really looking forward to the Matadors' debut, and it happened. And I was surprised, and I don't know if I was pleasantly surprised. I'm not sure. I'm very confused. I want to love it, and I want to hate it. This whole thing with the Torito, the little bull, like, it's so stupid.
But
it's so appropriate, and it's so funny.
What it is new generation. It's
like It's very, it's very new generation. But man, I just don't know.
New generation?
Yeah. The time period between the 80s and the Attitude Era, that kind of where you had
the cartoony stuff,
like Aldo Montoya, Doink the Clown, and shit like that.
That's straight up CMLL Mexico that's happening now. Like that, they've had that kind of stuff for eons. It's good to have it in a bigger stage. It looks cool. I like how they had the logo of the bull on the Titantron.
Oh yeah, that looked really
cool too. They had the 2 little tubes where the smoke snorted out, and the little mascot bull. It fits the character. Like that's a straight up. It's like they took the gimmick from Mexico and they just put it on WWE television.
Really?
Literally.
Like with the Torito and everything?
Like a third of the matches down there involve midgets,
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't. Okay. I don't know if it's exactly.
I'm not
talking
about
vein.
that. I'm talking about from my perspective. This is shit I've seen, 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, the gimmick aside, which, we can talk about that till the cows come home.
Or the Bulls.
I see what you did there.
Olé!
The wrestling was really good. And I'm not sure if those are the colognes. Everybody's saying it's the colognes, whatever. And it probably is. I don't know. But
they did a good job of fooling you.
Yeah.
Because the style did change.
The style did change, and
different.
it was really good. And in fact, just for the wrestling alone, I want to say that might be a match of the week candidate. Are we on board?
I'm like, I don't know why I'm on the fence with that.
Maybe because they're fighting 3 and B. And the match kind of went a little too long for me for a debut match.
Yeah, I didn't like the fans chanting boring. I didn't like the fans chanting primo.
Yeah, but see, that's the fans. That's the fans being stupid.
Yeah,
but I mean, the actual in-ring wrestling, I thought they did a good job. Gimmick aside. I really liked that finisher that they did, too.
The double Samoan drop?
Yes,
awesome.
that was
Different.
really cool.
Yeah.
You know, and
Heath Slater screaming like a little bitch when he got Irish whipped from both of them. That was hilarious.
Yeah. I really think that they had a lot of really good tandem offense, a lot of, flippy dippies by themselves. You know, I thought it was really good. And the tags in and out. Like, if you got over the gimmick, got over the fact that there was a little person dressed as a bull, running around ringside, you know, if you got over all of that, you know, and you just looked at the match in the in-ring, I thought it was really good. They really did a really good job in-ring wise.
A little longer than obviously by the crowd reaction, a little longer than it could have been, than it should have been. If you want to talk about a match of the week candidate that involves 3 and B, good God, what the hell happened on SmackDown?
Abel, are we about to reintroduce an old segment?
Yes.
Hit it.
WTF moment of the week. What the was that?
I can feel that F word in for you.
Yeah. Santino's Cobra got snake charmed by Jinder Mahal. And then
the Great Khali.
And the Great Khali. Yeah, the Great Khali brought it back over to the other side of the force.
That whole segment, that Cobra thing just jumped the shark.
Yes.
It's done.
JBL even said that. He said the phrase, jump the shark.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
I was too busy gagging over there.
You were too busy rolling your eyes?
Yeah.
Cursing the heavens in futility. This was still real to me, damn it. Now you ruined it forever.
You know, while I was kind of conflicted on what to think with the Los Matadores, I definitely was not conflicted with this, with the snake and everything. I thought that was just stupid. It didn't need to happen. They could have put this on Saturday Morning Slam if it was still around. It didn't need to be on SmackDown. It was just the most ridiculous thing ever. And I know that Santino has in the past kind of pantomimed like the snake has had, its own mind or whatever. But then you add in really, it had to be Jinder. Of course it had to be Jinder to do the snake charming. Why?
Don't hinder Jinder.
Because he's an Indian.
And
Khali, because he's an Indian, so they know how to snake charm. Like, come on.
Not to mention that his happen to have flutes with him.
Yeah, both of them happen to have flutes. And then on top of that, the dubbing of the flute music, I mean, that obviously wasn't them playing the flute. It was them pantomiming it along with music that was piped in. Oh God, that was so horrible, so bad.
It's so bad, even the audience was booing it.
Yes.
And it was supposed to be a comedy feature. If their comedy's getting booed, that's how bad it was.
This is like Rotten Tomato moment. You know, it's like, this is so bad, let's just toss Rotten Tomatoes at it. Like, oh.
So bad it was good.
No, it wasn't so bad that it was good.
You guys,
it was so bad that it was bad.
Man, the rods up your asses had rods up its asses. You gotta let it go. It's fucking SmackDown.
I don't care.
If this was on Raw, I would not have a 55 flat inch screen TV because it would be broken to hell. It's freaking SmackDown.
Dude, it was on SmackDown.
Yeah,
this
it's
is
SmackDown.
No, it's not just SmackDown. It's their number 2
show.
It
wasn't the main event. It wasn't a big match. It didn't have anything storyline wise. And again, that goes back to you have to have a little bit for everybody. You can have your grudges. You can have your
everybody
feuds,
was booing.
You can have your rivalries. To hell with what the crowd reacts. Let me decide for myself whether I like it or not. I don't need 15,000 people.
Okay,
booing.
Chris, did you like it or not?
It was funny, man. You gotta have a sense of humor. I'm not saying that it's gonna win like fucking Pro Wrestling Illustrated's top 500 matches. I'm not expecting that, you know? You get fierceness, you get angry, you get backstabbing. I need a little bit of fruit next to my steak, you know? Come on.
You would want fruit with your
Giggity,
steak.
Man. It can't all be seriousness and blood and
I
I'm gonna
know
kill
it can't
you.
all. I mean, comedy has a place in wrestling. I mean, look at Doomsday. It does, but
that would have fit. That segment would have been perfect in Doomsday.
As soon as we talked about the snake charming segment on Sunday, I got y'all to watch the other
The Hypnosis?
The
Yeah.
Hypnosis tag team from some indie fan, and it's freaking hilarious. Sometimes you just need a break.
WWE is not an indie fed
Yeah.
or a comedy fed. It's WWE.
But stuff that everyone else tries, WWE wants to get their hands on it and see if they can do it better. You
So
know?
they're like TNA.
I mean,
WWE has a history of getting it right more often than not. TNA has a history of being TNA. So
WWE does comedy, and sometimes they do it well. And hell, they sometimes do it more well than any other fed out there. But
It's just
this segment, this comedy bit, this was too much.
It's hard for me to understand how you guys can start saying, "Oh man, I'm digging the Matadores and the Toro," but then you turn around and say, "Oh man, this snake was bullshit. I don't want nothing to do with it on my TV."
I didn't say that.
At some point, there's room for everything. Just like
there is room for
just
everything, but the room that's there needs to be filled with quality for that room. Like the Matadors, I'm on the fence. I didn't say I liked it. I said that I wasn't sure if I liked it. Maybe it needs to grow on me or something, but that bordered on maybe being too ridiculous. This with the snake charming stuff, that was way too ridiculous. It wasn't on the border. It was way past the border.
Here's the problem, though.
It was already in California.
Here's the best part, though. Now that they did it, you'll never have to see it again. The Matadors, if you're not liking the bull, guess what? You're going to see it for at least a year.
Well, maybe, but
this might be the thing where we might just let the Cobra rest in peace. Now we've killed the gimmick to death, and we literally jumped the shark.
The Cobra came back on Monday.
Yeah.
The Cobra was there on Monday, and he got big swinged out.
Yeah, but you'll never see it again. You'll never see the snake charming. Come on, it's one time. At least the Matadors, you're going to see that for a while.
Put the Mark hat away. It is okay not to like something.
It's fine. It's just come on. It's entertaining, man.
Look at
Serious all the time.
Who are you trying to convince, man? Who are you
I'm
trying
not
to
trying to convince anyone. I'm just saying.
You're trying to convince yourself, damn it.
I liked it. The match wasn't all that.
Well, of course the match wasn't all that.
The moment that stood out was the snake charming, and I thought it was funny.
Well, yeah. Okay, I don't know. I mean...
Hey, it got us talking about SmackDown.
No, it didn't. It got us
We're
talking about
SmackDown right now.
Well, it is on SmackDown.
Yeah. You were saying how bad the Ziggler and what's his face with the vest and the bald spot and the title belt. You thought it was supposed to be a big deal and you didn't like it?
Vest and bald spot and title belt. What are you talking about?
Ambrose.
Oh, Ambrose doesn't have a bald spot, does he?
Do you want me to pull up a picture?
Okay, I believe you. What's your point?
What'd you think of that match?
What match?
The match with on SmackDown. Yeah.
You said we're talking about SmackDown.
Yes, okay, now I see where you're going. Yes. That match I thought had potential being a good match, but there was too much shenanigans. But the shenanigans had to be there for storyline purposes, I get it. But it was just, whatever.
Was RVD the right person to bring out there? Because he's already got his own thing going with ADR, and then he wound up just... Couldn't they have put
I thought he was
going to
bring out the Usos.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense for Kofi and RVD to me.
It would have been more sense with the Usos, but whatever. I mean, it was.
They're too preoccupied. The writers are too preoccupied with this.
Has that already been done before, though? Have they already had Ziggler and the Usos team up against the Shield before?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
twice, I'm assuming. Well, I know that the Usos teamed up with Christian, and that was the first time the Shield got
beat. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well. But
it was on Raw. They teamed up.
Yeah,
it was Usos and Ziggler versus.
Yeah. All right. One other match of the week candidate that I want to throw out there. This one I believe was from SmackDown too. Primetime Players versus the Real Americans.
Yes.
That was a solid match. There was a lot of good up-tempo spots here and there, and yeah, I really liked it. Travis, you sighed like like you don't agree.
I like all the participants.
Okay.
That they pull off good matches. I don't remember that much about the match itself.
Okay.
And I get it. Cesaro, he can swing people around.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Well, that was pretty darn impressive.
It was impressive because it was Titus O'Neil.
Yeah.
That was impressive. But
yeah.
I don't want to have to see it 15 other times. which I'm pretty sure we're
it
going to
loses its quality if you
Thank
see
you.
it too often. Like, it was cool the first time. Like even I know he's done it at Ring of Honor. I've seen the video, but after I forgot. You know, because you don't. They're
It's
giving
cool to bust out once in a while, but not like
they're
every
giving the
match.
visual that it's not Claudio Castagnoli. This is Antonio Cesaro. So when you see Antonio Cesaro, the character, do it once, it's like, holy crap, that was awesome. And I saw it on freaking Deadspin, and I saw it on a bunch of other websites that aren't really wrestling related websites. I'm like, wow, this is actually getting some traction. Doesn't mean you can whore it out and wear it out after about a month.
No,
you know?
it does mean that. That's what they did. That's what they're doing right now.
Yeah, you don't like it. You're not happy with it. I mean, it's.
I'm
cool,
happy with it.
You know,
It was impressive with Titus, but I don't want to see, I know we're going to have to see this for the next month or so in every single Cesaro match now.
and the weird thing that throws me off, it was cool doing it the first time because it was a real feat of strength.
Yeah.
You had never seen anyone do that in there. It sounds like the reactions he's getting, that looks like a move that a face should be doing.
Yes.
For the reactions that it's soliciting, it should be something a face would do.
Yeah.
You know, and it
'Cause it's
just
impressive.
doesn't. And it just doesn't fit Cesaro.
Well, it doesn't fit Cesaro because he's a heel right now, but if they were to decide, and I know that they're not going to, and it's a bit of a pipe dream to even bring it up, but if they were to decide that they were going to give Cesaro a face run, break him off of the Real Americans and like have him do his own thing and give him a little bit of a push, I think it'd be great.
Yeah,
You know?
it would.
I could see like him losing a match and Zeb just being all over him, saying he's not really an American, and then that would break off the tag team right there.
And then we could have, the obligatory feud with the ex-tag team partner with him and Swagger. And
And he'll do the big swing like 20, 30.
which would be impressive on Swagger, because Swagger's a big dude. Yeah.
But even then, now I'm expected of him to do it, so now it wouldn't be that impressive.
If he could pull off the big swing on Swagger and a really nice looking pop-up European uppercut, that'd be pretty cool. And we've yet to see a UFO in WWE, which if he pulls that off on some way, that'd be pretty cool too.
Explain what the UFO is.
The UFO is kind of like the big swing, except you have your opponent on your shoulders, kind of like a Samoan drop type position, and then you just start spinning around like in the big swing, and eventually you just let go and let your opponent go flying off your shoulders.
Like UFO.
Exactly.
Okay. I knew that. I just didn't want you to alienate any of our listeners.
Well, okay, there we go.
Jerk.
There you go, listeners.
Or if he grabs Zeb Coulter by the mustache and does the spinning
Spin around.
for 45 seconds, and then Yosemite Sam turns into the Just for Men guy that's already got his mustache shaved off.
Your beard is weird. Yeah. All right. So, match of the week candidates. We had Austin Aries versus Kenny King. Primetime Players versus Real Americans. The Matadores versus 3MB.
Was that a candidate?
Well, I nominated it. Is there any other one that I'm overlooking?
Not that I'm... I don't know how you guys thought, but man, that Punk Langston match was really good.
Okay, if you want to nominate that one, go ahead. I think that is a good step up for Langston.
It was a fresh match, and they worked really well together. Mm-hmm. I liked it.
I would like to see Langston stepping up and doing more things.
Ditch Axel, throw in Langston.
Okay.
That might be
That
the
would
case.
be a great Paul Heyman guy. Something a fresh mold of clay to build into.
Yeah, because
something.
Axel's not working.
Axel's just not. cutting
He is
it
an
anymore.
afterthought if there's ever one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to see.
Good thing he's not a champion.
He is.
Oh, what? Oh.
I would like to see at some point, not right now, but at some point in his career, maybe 2, 3, 4 years down the line, I'd like to see him as a face.
He is a face in NXT, right?
Is he?
Or he was.
Who are you talking about?
Big E.
Oh. Yeah. He was a face in NXT, yeah.
Was he? Okay.
As the NXT champion, from what I was told.
Yeah, just solely based off all the funny random stuff that he posts up on Twitter. I think that if they let him be that persona and just be that personality where he's just kind of a weird dorky guy, I think that could gain some traction, that people could get behind it. This
The tough, quirky guy.
yeah, like this big tough dude who's also kind of weird and quirky, I think it could work.
The only thing that throws me off on that is he was gone for 2 months without any explanation.
True.
Same thing with Caitlyn.
Yeah, where the hell's
And
Caitlyn
Wade
been?
Barrett.
Yeah, where the hell's Wade Barrett been?
Yeah.
Another repackage, maybe. I don't know.
Wade Barrett doesn't need a repackage. Wade Barrett just needs a feud and an interesting storyline. That's all he really needs. I think.
No, he's going to come back as a barber. Bank on it.
I know.
Wade the Barber Barrett.
Oh, it has a nice ring to it, too.
There you go. They could bring back the barbershop. Get Brutus Beefcake on there to kind of pass the torch and be like, here you go.
Hey, speaking of returns and whatnot, did y'all see that picture of Ezekiel Jackson?
No.
Yeah, he's like getting in shape. He's working on his 24-inch pythons.
Great.
I was about to say, he's already in a big shape. He doesn't need
He's like getting more toned and shit. Yeah.
Really?
So he doesn't have bowling balls for shoulder blades anymore?
Probably. He was flexing his muscle. I don't know. But, I mean, if he's coming back, if he's getting geared, because he was recovering from an injury or something, right? Yeah. So, I mean, if he's going to be coming back with Big E and all these other guys that are coming back, it's different faces we haven't seen in a while.
Right.
As opposed to the same people that's always wrestling. So.
We didn't give our picks for match of the week. What's your pick, Trev?
I don't think I have one this week.
Really? That bad, huh?
If I'll pick one just to appease the audience.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
Austin Aries versus Kenny King.
That was going to be my pick.
That's my pick, too.
Okay, there we go.
Wow, for all the crap we give TNA,
And
got a match of the week.
TNA got a unanimous match of the week there.
Yeah.
Wow. Listeners, if you want to chime in, of course, you can always do so. Tweet us at H Wrestling Radio or go to facebook.com/Houston Wrestling Radio and let us know what you think match of the week should be. That being said,
Is that it?
I think we're done for WWE and TNA talk for this week. Unless there's anything else you boys want to add? No?
Nope.
All right, let's move on to a couple of little tidbits here and there. We have Alamo City Comic-Con coming up in Alamo City, which is San Antonio.
Yes.
For those of you keeping score at home. And it's going to be October the 25th, 26th, and 27th.
Why are we talking about a Comic-Con on the wrestling show, Abel?
Well, here's why.
Oh, do
because
tell.
there are going to be wrestlers there.
Wrestlers, you say?
Yes, we're going to have Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, X-Pac, just like how they were here in Houston, last month. But they're going to be there in San Antonio, along with Scott Steiner, Bret Hart, and Hernandez.
Wow.
Yeah, so pretty cool. And this time, they're going to be there, from what I understand, the whole weekend. Mm-hmm. They're going to be there the whole freaking show.
So everybody who didn't get a chance to go to the Clutch City Super Show, now's your chance.
Yep.
Just a couple hours drive from here,
Speaking of Clutch City Productions, Clutch City Productions will also be there. Yep. They're going to have a booth there at the Alamo City Comic-Con. So drop by and tell them hi. They always have some cool merch and stuff to sell, 8x10s, autographs of, athletes and wrestlers and that type of thing. So go over there and check them out. Check out their booth. And, they've been good to us. They're good dudes. So tell them we said hi.
And I might just make a trip out there.
Oh.
Yeah, you think you might, Trev?
I'm going to try. I'm on vacation, so...
Oh, really? You'll be on vacation at that time?
Yep.
Nice. So
that means we'll be house sitting.
Yes!
Wait a minute.
You're going to come home with like 3 more cats for no reason?
No.
What happened to all my Pop-Tarts, Chris?
Oh, no, Chris isn't allowed while I'm not here.
What happened to all my toilet paper, Abel?
Yeah.
All right.
I have to cancel this trip.
Also, we have the NWA invasion of New Japan Pro Wrestling coming up this month.
Actually, technically, it's the New Japan Pro Wrestling invasion of NWA.
Yeah, I guess I said that backwards, didn't I? Yeah.
When is this?
The 28th?
18th, maybe?
18th? Yes, it is 18th. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm totally wrong. 2818. 18th. Yes. It is on the 18th. So that looks like it's going to be a pretty cool show. That are posting up more and more things as we go along, as far as like what's going to be on the card and who's wrestling and all this.
It's a very unique card. Rare. You're not going to see these guys.
Yeah, dudes from New Japan. I mean, that doesn't happen every day, especially down here in Texas. So in Houston, no less. So that's definitely something that you guys are going to want to check out.
Yeah, kudos to NWA for being able to score that.
Yeah, good job, NWA.
I will
Houston.
be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. I think we'll all be there.
Yeah, I'm going to try to.
Cool. All right. Anything else we got on the docket there?
This Sunday, TASW, Houston Street Fight at 4:00. That's going to be at the Armadillo Event Center.
Okay, that's their normal home.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Laporte show that they came down to this last week that we talked about, that was, their first time, and they're going to be coming back. But most of the time, they have their shows there at the Armadillo. Armadillo what?
Event Center.
Event Center. I was going to say Rec Center. I'm sorry. Armadillo Event
You
Center.
dummy.
I'm a dummy.
Eh.
All right. Okay. That's it for this week. As far as I know, for events and stuff that are upcoming. Yeah. Also, we have, T-shirts that are being sold. Yes, we do.
Are people buying them?
Well, hopefully they will be after
Chris?
they hear us talk about it. Yeah, Chris. All right. Go to prowrestlingtees.com/Houston Wrestling Radio. That's PROWWRESTLING TEES. See, that's the part that I wanted to highlight because sometimes I'll just put TS. No, T's like T-shirts. TEES.
I think they get it.
Okay. They get it. Go on there, buy a shirt, help support our show, and look good doing it while you're wearing the shirt. I'd say. It's a snazzy...
Well, the shirt will look good. We can't guarantee they'll look good.
That's true.
Yeah.
Send your pics. We'll be the judge of that.
Picture didn't happen.
Wow, he beat me to it. That sounds like something I would have said.
Yeah, but go on there, buy a shirt, guys. It's for, a good cause, supporting us. So, thank you for that. Also, like I said earlier in the show, this was our 1-year show. We've been doing this for 1 whole year. This is pretty exciting. And, we're going to continue the celebration, going out and seeing Mick Foley.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Wednesday night, tomorrow night.
Yep.
Mick Foley's in town at the Improv, and he's gonna be doing his little thing, and we're gonna be there, and God, I hope we get a chance to actually talk to him. That'd be really cool.
I hope so, too.
And, guys, if you guys are heading out there, let us know. We're gonna try to meet up there a little bit early, so if you show up with us, hopefully we can all, kind of sit in a close enough area together, and don't be afraid to say hi. If you listen to the show and you see us out and about, just come up and say, hey man, listen to your show, it's pretty good. Hopefully you say it's pretty good. I don't know, you might not, but you
never know with me.
Yeah, you never know. Just don't be shy, say hi. Hey, that rhymed a little bit, but anyway,
we'll
Foley's,
give you a cookie later.
Thank you. Yeah, Foley's coming up, and it's gonna be, the date is actually going to be our 1 year, October the 2nd, so that's really cool.
Coincidence? I think not.
See, Foley came down here because he heard it was a 1 year for Houston Wrestling Radio.
We'll stick with that.
With it being 1 year, I got, several people, that we got to thank just for helping us along and supporting us and getting us to this point that we are now. Just in no particular order. Shining Wizards. They've helped us a lot with, cross promotion, cross advertising, and also behind the scenes, they've helped us out a little bit with,
some pointers, yeah.
Yeah, giving us some pointers, giving us some advice. They've just been really, really helpful. Also, the guys at Marking Out, there was at one point in time when we very, very first started that, I was kind of feeling a little bit discouraged with this whole project, and I was almost feeling like quitting. And then out of the blue, Marking Out got with us and said, hey man, I'll give you a shout out, and, we'll do some cross promotion. So that really kind of got me out of that funk there and encouraged me a little bit. And, between now and then, they've helped us out. We retweet some of their stuff. And they retweet some of ours, and, they're really good dudes, and I really like their show. So thank you guys. Also, we couldn't have done, any of the visual stuff without our friend, Aaron. He's the one who designed our logos, designed our t-shirts, designed our, pretty much everything. So thanks so much, Aaron, for helping us out over the past year. And I know that we're going to have, more help from you. So, listeners, go check his, webpage out, facebook.com/awesomeag designs. So if you need anything, go and ask him. He's a good dude, and he does good work. Also, Gnar World Order, guys who do our music, thanks so much for letting us use your music. Pete, thanks for coming on the show. What was it? 2-3 months ago. And thanks for your continued support. Hopefully we'll get some new music from you guys here soon, for the new year. And, just thanks for, pipping us out whenever you can. Pretty much. Let's see. Also, Wrestling Chronicle, Kayfabe Kickout, Wrestling Enigma. All three of those websites has helped us out with, whenever we have a big interview. If I type up, a little summary or whatever, they put it on their website. And, I really appreciate that. Oh, also, WrestlingChat.net, and they also did the same thing. So thank you so much, guys. Some of our listeners, Nicole Bacon, Miranda and Mary, they've all been listening to us, for the majority of the year. Thanks so much for checking us out. Also, we can't forget about Julio and Jaime. They've both been, pretty good listeners, interacting with us on the Facebook page and whatnot. That was pretty cool. We can't forget about Max. He's been a supporter of us, and we've been a supporter of his from day one with Wrestling with Subtitles. It was really cool over the course of this year, basically getting WWE and TNA to put subtitles on their DVDs and stuff. That was a really fun adventure that we had with him. And, I feel like we made a friend with him, and that's really awesome. Thanks so much for listening to our show. And, we've also talked about maybe doing some stuff together, some collaboration type things. That'd be really, really cool. The other indie shows around town, of course, TSAW, we've, done a little bit of stuff with them. NWA Houston, not so much that we've done things with them, but hopefully we will going forward. Of course, ROW, Booker T Show, we've interviewed a lot of their guys, and they've, allowed us to have those interviews, and we've worked together, and that was just really cool, and hopefully we can continue that relationship. And let's see, who else here? Am I forgetting anyone?
I'd like to shout out to Gilbert from Clutch City.
Yes, how could I forget about Gilbert?
You're an idiot.
I am an idiot. Yeah.
You know what you should be doing right now is going on your Facebook page and list every single person that likes us.
Okay. That'd be kind of hard. That'd be a lot
make sure
of people.
Nobody gets unnoticed. Yeah, everybody gets their due.
Special thanks to all the other people that like us on Facebook.
Weak.
Yeah. Yeah, all our Facebook followers, all our Twitter followers, thank you so much for, following us and liking
Stitcher,
us.
Instagram, iTunes.
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah.
Any other?
Yeah, I don't know if he's listening, but Brendan Williams, he was, he's a really cool dude. He always,
trying to get those free Texan tickets, aren't you?
I'm trying, man. You're not helping.
You know what? Thanks to Chris Jericho.
Yeah, Jericho. You know what? All our other past guests, Hernandez, Tio Santana, Buff Bagwell, Scott Steiner, ACH, Jay Lethal, Queen Charmel, Taylor Hendricks. All of those guys have been awesome. We had good experiences with all of those people where we had the interviews with them, and it was just so cool talking to all those people. And hopefully we get to talk to them, again sometime in the future. Yeah. Thanks so much to everybody. And of course, to our listeners, everybody who tunes in and downloads us and, actually listens to the show. That's why we're doing this. So, for you guys, for the listeners. So continue listening to us. Send us in your feedback. Get on our Facebook. Get on our Twitter. Tell us, what you think of the show. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. And, tell a friend. Tell them to, also get on the computer and listen to us.
I'd like to thank Chris for helping me put up with you. I appreciate that, Chris. You don't know how much this means to me.
You're about to get on one knee and ask me a question?
Uh-oh.
Will you be a Travis guy?
Wait till next week.
Okay. Well, that being said, let's stop this little love fest here. Let's
jealous.
Here's to another year. Hopefully we could grow just as much as we did in this first year, if not double or triple that. But thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening. Adios, my friends. Keep it classy.
Ole! Toodles?
That was
wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!